Oh, hi. I am just planning my holiday menus. How about you? So today we're going to talk about how to get our budget in check for the holidays. It is November. It is time to get serious. So let's talk about it today. When I grew up, my grandparents were farmers, and they had 25 grandchildren and great grandchildren and 5 children, spouses. We had a huge family dinner. People would be set up on card tables in different rooms. There were just, people could hardly walk sideways to get through the house, but nobody cared because everybody got to see everybody. And isn't that the most exciting thing about the holiday, is getting to see your family? It's not what's on the table. It's not all of those things that we think that matters as hosts. It's really just getting together as family. And I think sometimes as hosts, we put too much on ourselves, thinking people expect certain things from us when really they just want to see us. My son said the other day, Mom, I don't think I want to come on Thanksgiving. I think I want to come the day after and just have leftovers. Because every time I'm there on the holiday, you spend the whole time in the kitchen and I never get to see you. So that's a perfect example of what I'm trying to convey today. So in my grandparents' home, they would maybe provide the mashed potatoes, they would maybe provide the meat, and everybody else brought everything else. They didn't put too much on themselves. They knew how expensive that would be. And so as we go through the holidays, I know we all have traditions, and I know we all have expectations of what that holiday tradition looks like or has always been. But it's okay to change that up, because the real part of the holiday is seeing each other. When I had small children at home, we were very poor and we didn't have the money. And the kids really didn't know the difference. So we just made really nice sides and had a baked chicken. And there's no shame in having a baked chicken for Thanksgiving or for Christmas. There's no shame in that. Once you debone it, who really cares? Somebody isn't going to say, oh, is this chicken instead of turkey? They're just not going to, it's not going to matter. So think about some of the ways you can change it up this year, because I know as Christmas gets closer and then New Year's comes and then all those bills start coming in because maybe you overextended yourself. The most important thing is trying not to overextend ourselves now. And so we're going to talk about some different ways that we can use tips and tricks and just common sense on how to get through the next couple of months with food without it putting a bigger damper on our budget than the inflation already has done. So some of the things that I'm doing is I'm already starting to plan my menus, is I'm looking at frugal ingredients. I'm looking at more spices. I'm looking at the cost of the ingredients I'm using. I'm going through my menus and looking for recipes that have less ingredients or cheaper ingredients, or whatever I can do to still have a quality meal and not spend as much money. And I did just have my cookbook come out, and it's already a bestseller, so I hope that this would help you. It does have holiday recipes in it. Many of the ones that I'm going to use this year, many of the ones that I use every year. And it's called 50 Frugal Recipes When Cooking on a Budget. So if you're interested in this, it's available on Amazon, and the links are in the description box. But as we talk about menus and the day of the holiday, we need to cut back in areas that don't matter. So we always use real dishes. We always use real silverware. We always use real cups. I know a lot of people buy the throwaway paper products, and Evidently they do, because the stores are always full of these to make things easier on people. But by making things easier on us, it costs more money. And so I don't use any of those extra products because that does cost extra. And when we grew up in my grandma's house, everybody pitched in. Everybody helped clean up. Everybody helped set up the tables, the chairs. Everybody helped do the dishes. It was a family event. It wasn't just all on grandma's back. My grandma was born in 1907 and my grandpa was born in 1898, and he had Parkinson's, so he couldn't help. He had the shuffle step, he had the stutter and the hard time making conversation with people. So he wasn't able to do any of the manual labor of setting up tables or chairs or anything, and we all knew this. So people would show up early and help grandma. So some of the things I'm planning on doing ahead of time to make it easier on myself is I'm going to start preparing things a few days earlier. And maybe some of you already do this, but I still have fudge frozen from last year in my freezer. All I have to do is pull it out at Christmas, take the lid off, let it thaw. It's already prepared. I don't have to buy any of those extra ingredients. So watch for things as they rotate them on sale. Watch for your sugar. Watch for your baking ingredients that you know you're going to have. Eggs are a huge thing right now. I went out yesterday. I couldn't find any for less than $3.99 a dozen. So I came home without eggs. And I told my husband we may have to make some eggless recipes. That just may be the way it is for a while. We may have to eat something else for breakfast like oatmeal until we can catch some of them on sale. And it's not that we don't have the money. I just refuse to spend that much for some of those things. So I watch for them to rotate on sale, and I watch for coupons and rebates, and then I use those. There's a time for everything under the sun. A time to plan, a time to spend, a time to save, a time to have fun, and times to live frugally. And so we have to keep those rotations and those thoughts in our mind. Every single day can't be fun and spending. Every single day can't be, well, it just costs this much and I have to have it, so I'm going to buy it. It's okay. You have choices. You have choices to leave that there until the next time and choose something else that you can afford. We have to be really careful as we move into the holiday season that we don't overextend ourselves. And many of you know I live on a farm. So when I'm saying to use real dishes, real silverware, real cups, I don't have a dishwasher. I don't have an ice maker. I don't have any of those conveniences out here. And yes, I probably could, but I never have, and I just don't see the point in taking up the space or using the extra electricity on those items. So we just plan ahead and we just handle those day-to-day tasks the way that they used to, the way that my grandma did. And so as I'm encouraging you to think about doing some of these things for the holiday, use real napkins, use the real stuff. It will cut back on that budget. And then if you do need to spend a little bit more in certain areas, you won't have spent it on some of the other things. There may be some things you'll just have to break down and buy. I'm sure as it gets closer, if I can't find eggs on sale, I'll have to break down and probably buy some, because there is at least one frugal recipe that we make every single year that I need eggs for. Plan ahead for these things. Start making your menu now. Maybe even cut that menu down. A lot of food waste is done around the holidays. We tend to make too much for how many people come because we want to make sure we have enough. We tend to make a whole spread or a whole table full of desserts and a huge meal, when it's okay just to have a simple meal with some basics and 2 or 3 desserts. It doesn't have to be a whole huge meal. In fact, I know families that just offer the one dessert. They just have the piece of pumpkin pie with the whipped cream and the one plate of food, and there isn't any other options. And that's been their tradition for years. and they expect that and they're fine with that. So it's okay to change up those traditions a little bit. Everybody knows how much food costs right now. I don't care what level of income you make, everyone is very, very aware of what things are costing us right now. So I hope that this is helpful to you. Please follow me for more tips, and I enjoy having your company, and I hope to see you in the next video.